I think the guys that have chosen to be here are guys that are just starving to come test themselves every single day in practice, to come get better. I got hungry guys. I got guys that have really unique, distinguishable skill sets that fit us really well. And so I'm excited about this crew. This is going to be a really special crew.
Coach, what's one trait about Ortega's game that is NBA ready today, you think? Maybe what's one thing that maybe another year here in Lexington could take him to a whole other level?
Ortega's physicality is elite. His physicality on the offensive and defensive end. And that shows up in a lot of ways. It shows up in contact, hits. It shows up in his explosiveness. It shows up in his first step. It shows up in his ability to kind of navigate guarding guys off the ball through screens and on the ball through screens by creating space with his chest. So he has in those ways, he is as good as you're going to find. He's really special. He grew so much last season in terms of kind of winning the point of attack over and over, whether it was on the ball or off the ball defensively. And like all of us, he has so much room to grow. I think his ceiling as a playmaker, he hasn't even begun to tap into that. I think he can become an elite level playmaker. I think something that he's talked a lot about is his ability to get his shot off more quickly. He shot the ball really well last year at 37%. From three, but to get it off quicker and get more attempts, I think is a big deal for him. On the defensive end, his ability to kind of neutralize bigs on the glass and bigs and switches is something, a place where he can really excel, and I think he could have a chance to grow into one of the elite steals guys in the country. So he got a ton of room to grow. He's an unbelievable player who had a great season last year, and it's pretty fun to talk about.
It's obvious how important Ortega is to next year's team. In this phase right now, do you guys communicate a lot, or do you back away and just let him do his thing, see how it comes out?
No, we're talking to all of our guys that are going through this process all the time. And this is a really exciting time for our guys that are in this draft process. And as a staff, we've had guys out to all the different venues where they're training, guys at the Combine, the G League Combine, and then we'll have a presence at the Combine this week. We've been to, like I said, guys' workouts. These are lifelong relationships that we build, and as these guys go pursue the next step, it's really exciting for us and exciting for them, and we're on it.
Mark, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Andrea Yelovich, is that good?
It was really good, actually.
Okay. Can you explain his entire recruitment process? Obviously, Mega Basket has a pretty storied tradition of creating big, versatile men like him, but how did he first come on your radar? What was the process like of figuring out he wanted to do college basketball and, putting the sell on for him to come to Kentucky?
Yeah, I can't remember actually how he first came on my radar. Everything is just it's beautiful madness. But my first FaceTime conversation with him was actually beautiful. I mean, from the first few minutes talking, I was like, wow, this kid is really special. He loves the game of basketball. He loves to hoop. He wants to hoop all the time. He's in an environment where he's doing 2 practices a day, every day for his entire life. And so that's kind of the background he's come from. He's with a really good organization that we know the people surrounding that organization really well. And he knows Kentucky. Actually on FaceTime with him, as we kind of were exchanging calls, the more and more this became real, the more emotional he got. This is like all of us, the opportunity to be associated with Kentucky basketball is a little bit beyond his wildest dreams, and so he was pretty emotional about the whole process and can't wait to get started.
Backing off of that, before you came here, we had a different Croatian player that came from overseas, and it seemed to always be sick, homesick, maybe injured, struggling with adapting to the American game. How does that look like? What does that plan kind of look like for Yelovich?
Yeah, so we're trying to get through all the stuff, right? There's all the stuff. We're trying to get through it as quickly as possible. He's been incredibly cooperative. The people at Magan, people at his university have been incredibly cooperative. The NCAA is working hard and just pushing it through as quickly as we can. And I have every reason to believe that he's going to be just as successful here as all of our guys are. I think he's got a chance to be a really special player.
Is it true that players make the biggest jump between freshman and sophomore years? And if so, I'm thinking about someone like Colin who set out 2 years, and what kind of leap there might be.
Yeah, I think that for us, the thing that sticks out the most to me is our guys make a massive jump from year 1 to year 2. Guys that kind of are in our deal. Wherever I've coached, it's so fun. Year 2 is so fun because year 1 is just this onslaught of learning decision making. I mean, as a broad brush, you're just overwhelmed with learning decision making. Learning decision making takes time, right? Learning dot to dot takes a little bit of time. Learning how to make decisions takes a lot of time, and understand why and where and how and the skill set to actually do it. And so and what works and what doesn't, and what works for you as an individual player with your skill set and what doesn't. And so guys coming in second year for me, almost without fail, they take massive leaps. And so we expect all of these returners to be much better than they were last year, which is saying a lot because they were really good last year. Colin Chandler is going to be a great example. I mean, he's so hungry right now. He's been working really hard. I think I don't know how many workouts he did on his wedding day, but I'm guessing it was more than one. And he's going to have a really special year next year.
You're in the league from year 1 to year 2. What was the feeling like when Travis Perry decided not to stay and move on?
Yeah, I mean, in full, you guys know I'm pretty open. Like, I was devastated when Travis left. I think he's mostly because I think he's such a terrific young man. I think he's a really special person. I think he's got an old soul, and he's full of wisdom, and he just is everything that you want in a young man and a player. And then he's a big time basketball player. He's a great talent, and I think it was certainly devastating to me personally because I enjoy coaching him so much, and I think he's got a brilliant upside. I think he was on his way to becoming a legend here at Kentucky. So that made me sad, but he's going to find a path that works for him, and it's going to be positive. But that was a tough one for us.
What were the biggest challenges in putting together a roster with the House first NCAA settlement ongoing?
Well, you just don't know what the rules are exactly, but that's kind of fun because it's like you don't know what the rules are, right? But I think there's been so much chaos that we kind of are getting more accustomed to kind of living in the chaos, and so you just it's just war games, right? You just plan out every possible contingency plan and think it through the best you can, and then make a decision and run with it, and so it's fun.
Speaking of that, since last year was such a whirlwind for you coming in at the very end of the season, is it more comforting now kind of having that whole year to kind of have that plan and recruit and know what you want for your team?
Yeah, certainly we have so many more data points, right? It's because I don't know what more is a lot more than, 1 is a lot more than 0, right? So we had a lot more data points. And I think we have we're getting to know our staff. I talk about our players being better the second year. Our staff is going to be 100 times better than we were last year, just because we had a chance to function together and learn each other, and the guys have had a chance to learn me, and so it's we're excited to see how much better we can be year 2. How much more efficiently we can do things, how much more smartly and intelligently we can do things, how much higher we can raise the standard that we hold ourselves accountable to as a staff and our players accountable to, and how relentless we can be at doing that. I think that year 2 is fun because you have year 1 under your belt.
Your players, your new players, talked about how excited they were to be a part of this. You alluded to that in your opening statement with your new players. When you're looking at guys through the portal primarily, where does being part of Kentucky basketball fit on your checklist? Is that at the top, or is that icing on the big blue cake?
I think it's both, actually. I think it's the beginning and the end, because it matters. There's nowhere like this. And if you come in here not understanding or appreciating that, I actually think your chances of success are not very high. To some level, I mean, nobody can really understand this until you live it, right? But the guys that are really successful here come in with a healthy respect for what this is. And because it requires more, actually. It requires more ability to be, non-distracted. It requires more of a giving heart. It requires more of an idea that there's something bigger than yourself. It requires more of an ability to sacrifice a little bit. And understand that by sacrificing a little bit of yourself, it actually elevates you, right? That's what's great about this beautiful team sport of basketball that we have. When you learn that concept of, like, if I give a little bit, if I just give a little bit of myself, it actually elevates myself, right? We were just doing a media shoot about this chance to become immortal and how you get there. The pathway to get there is very different than this world wants to teach us. And so understanding, having some concept of what Kentucky basketball means is a vital part from the very first phone call to the very last pre-commitment conversation. And there are a lot of guys that don't really get that, and they're going to go be great basketball players. They just won't be great basketball players here because this place is different, and you need to understand that if you want to come play here. Not if you want to come play here. If you're going to accept the incredible opportunity to come play here, you have to understand that. If you don't understand it, you're just not going to be successful. If you do understand it, you're going to be crazy successful. And our guys last season set a beautiful, brilliant standard of what it means to be a Kentucky basketball player. And we actually are leaning on them a lot as we try and describe this. Their video, their outtakes, their clips, their comments, just to help guys understand. It's really important.
Mark, you guys.
Can you talk about the player transfers you got from within the SEC? And you kind of giggle when you get them because think it's going to help me, maybe it's going to hurt who I'm going to play against too?
Yeah, I don't really think about the. I just think about I'm talking about being selfless, and I'm pretty selfish about this. I'm just excited about have great players, and we're really blessed to have some great players coming in from the SEC and coming in from other places in the country and in the world. And we have guys that are veteran guys that have been through it. It's nice. The SEC guys know the league, and they know the physicality, and they know the talent, and they kind of know the flow, and venues are going to be familiar to them, and all those things are advantageous. But mostly, I'm just excited about the guys that we got. This is Mo Diabate, man. I think he's a special person. Like, I don't know, it was second or third conversation. We were talking about his family and his history and his faith and his commitment to all three of those things. And he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about his life and how he thought about the world and his decision making. But it was so clear and transparent that it's all built on those three foundations. And I think he's special. I think he's special. And then his skill set fits us in a brilliant way. I just can't wait to see what he can do for us on the court. He's coming from an incredible program, incredible coaching staff, and we're going to get to be enjoy some of the fruit of all the labors that have come with him and by him before he got here, but really excited about him. And this Denzel Aberdeen, I mean, he's coming here wearing a big, fat, giant ring, and there's no way to replace that type of experience. And he's a beautiful kid, man. Like, spending time with his parents was really special. Comes from a military family background, and he cares about people, and He's an incredibly talented basketball player, and so specifically those two guys, I can't wait to get them here, and I can't wait for them to come experience basketball at the University of Kentucky because it's just different. And even being in this league, I'm excited for those guys because they get to walk in the doors and then learn how this is so different here, and they're going to make us a better team.
Are so important, Brandon Garrison and his ceiling. What do you kind of envision for him in the second year?
He needs to be a leader. I'm really proud of him, how he's approached this offseason. He's been really hungry. He's been working really hard. And his job now as a returning player is to come teach all the other guys, whether they're more senior than him or not. He's one of our few returning guys that knows what we do, knows how we do it, knows the expectation, knows the standard. It was really fun in the last month of the season to see him start to take on some leadership role, even with the veteran-laden team that we had last year. You started to hear his voice more. You started to feel his intensity a little bit more. He's changed. Like, he's grown. Like, it's been awesome. We had four new coming players on official visits all together. It was a really fun weekend. And we had the guys to my house for a long breakfast and kind of hang out. And Brandon Garrison came, and it was really fun to watch him holding court with those four guys. He kind of went out of his way to come over and then sit with those guys and kind of talk to them about like what it is and what it's like and what it requires. And to think of Brandon Garrison as being a big brother right now is super cool because he'll be the first to tell you that Amari Williams was a life-changing mentor for him, and he's excited about now kind of moving into that position where he gets to help some other guys come along, and he's gonna be really good.
We saw last year how important a point guard is to this system. Can you just talk about Jalen and his skill set and what kind of he brings to this offense?
Yeah. We have really good guards, and Jalen Lowe is certainly one of those. He's a guy that's been through it. He's a veteran player, put up big numbers last year, carried a huge responsibility last year, and it's very rare that you run into a guy that's been as pronounced a talent as he has that is dying to play with more talent around him, that wants to be a guy that steps into a program where he wants to stir the drink. He wants to make guys better. He wants to elevate guys and wants to be around guys that have a ton of gravity on the court. He's hungry to do that, and he's a special talent. I love his ability as a playmaker. I think he's really special as a playmaker. He's clearly a capable scorer. He's got a chance to, one of the things last year, he was in the 90th percentile in the country at taking tough shots. So he was in the 90th percentile in the country of taking shots, volume of shots in the bottom 20% shot quality. He just had to carry such a massive load last year. And this game for him coming here is going to become so much easier and so much more efficient. And he's going to be surprised, and he knows it by, having a chance to actually get an open catch and shoot once in a while, right? And really have guys that demand space on the floor. So, I expect he's going to take a massive jump also in his efficiency and his leadership. And we're really excited about him. I think he's got a huge upside.
Mark, were you looking for anything different this time in the transfer portal than you were a year ago?
I think I don't know if there's any wide swings different. I think maybe more fine-tuned differences.
Coach, the non-conference schedule was already tough enough, and then you added an exhibition against Purdue, who many think could be a number one team.
Wait, what? Who scheduled that?
I assume you have the utmost confidence in this team, this talent level, because you guys are a preseason top 10 team as well, according to multiple outlets. So was that kind of the plan, to kind of load up against these great teams to potentially play them at the end of the season as well?
I'm not sure, actually. This is what I know. I mean, this is going to sound terrible and uncalculating. I love playing great teams all the time. I love it. I think it's really important. And anytime there's any chance we can get great teams to come into Rupp, we're going to take it. If it's in the exhibition season or the preseason or the conference season, we'll take it. It's listen, we care about. I'm just excited for BBN that we get to walk in here in late October and play the number one team in the country. I'm really excited about that. So I'm excited about that for our fan base. We're working on another exhibition game that I think is going to be terrific, and I'm excited for it for our fan base. I'm excited about for college basketball. I'm excited about it for our guys, because when you play against great teams, it teaches you so much about yourself, and the chance to do that in an exhibition where the cost might not be so high, and get to do it really early in the season where it's not just the data you receive after the game and during the game, but it's all of the energy and juice that it adds to your locker room every day during the summer and during the fall, when you're like, hey, we're preparing, and guys, this is coming way faster than you might anticipate. I think those are all real bonuses. And Matt Painter I don't know if he's the best coach in college basketball, but he's certainly got to be counted among the top couple, and what he's done at Purdue is incredible. And I have so much respect for him, and he makes life really difficult for the teams that play against him, because he's got a very unique, distinct style of play and style of coaching. And so in every front, that's going to be so fun.
Strong early test. How confident are you as far as Jaden being ready? There's a lot of talk about will he be ready to go early in the game.
Jaden Quains? We'll see. The one thing I know about him, he's an incredible talent, and we're going to go as fast as we can with the absolute most caution that we can. And so he's working really hard. He's making tremendous progress right now. Talk about a beautiful young person, man. He's really young, actually. When I say young person, he's really young, but he's a beautiful kid. Big Blue Nation going to fall in love with Jaden Quains. He just is. He fits on our roster. He's just a really special person, and so we're gonna race back to 100% health as fast as we can.
Went into playing the Battle of the Bluegrass so early this season.
Just scheduling. It just is. Scheduling gets more increasingly complicated, and so I think it was what worked out best. I heard there might be a push. People wanted that in December. Is that true? So blame Louisville for that, okay? I actually don't know how we got to the date. There's more important people are dealing with those issues than me, but I'm sure it's Louisville's fault. I say that with all due respect to Pat. He's incredible.
Mark, this upcoming season with what you've had to put together and, sign for the first time, re-sign from last season, what's the, if you can say, NIL valuation of your current roster?
It's close to $200 million. We would like to win at everything, guys. Like we really would. This is the flagship program in the country. And so I'm fully on board with all of it. We want to play the hardest schedule. We want to play the best teams. We want to win the most games. We want to have the best players. We want to have the highest NIL. We want to have the coolest uniforms. We want to have the most media attention. Like, this is Kentucky. And we're going to do this the very best we can. And we're blessed. We're really blessed to have President Capilouto and Mitch Barnhart and some of the most committed, generous fans and donors and supporters in all of college basketball. We have the best donors in college basketball. We have the best fans in college basketball. This is the University of Kentucky. Like, I never forget that. So we should be the best at everything. And I put NIL, put the transfer portal on the list. Our job is to go be the best at everything. So we're not shying away from that. Like, it's important to us.
You said pre-Reese that you're going to add a couple more pieces. Where do things stand? Are you comfortable with the guys you have right now, or are you still looking?
I love our roster right now. We'll see. We could have a little bit of movement here, but I think we're in a pretty good spot. Probably can't talk about that too much, but we'll see.
Going off of that, last year's roster was more shooter filled, and now you have more athleticism. How intentional was that, and is the plan still to shoot 30 to 35 threes a game?
I failed miserably at that last year. We'd like to remedy that. It's really important to us. It was just one of the places I felt like we accomplished a lot last year, but that was one of the spaces that was disappointing. We just it was hard, and I'm gonna, part of it was roster changes made it a little bit more complicated, but that's an important part of how we play the game. It's an important part of how the game is played now, and so we'd like to chase that.
What are your expectations early for Jasper and Malachi coming in?
I think Jasper Johnson is a superstar. I expect him to come in here and be great. And for every freshman, there is a learning curve in terms of the physicality and intensity of the game, the relentless physicality and intensity of the game. But Jasper Johnson has got a really, really incredible skill set. He's one of those guys. There are very few players who just go get a shot whenever they want it. He can do it. He's got a ability to get skinny and kind of do things defensively that are going to be surprising. I think he's got an incredible upside on the defensive side of the ball also. I think he's got a crafty, slippery nature when you get downhill. He's got a poise about him. He's a little bit unflappable. He's able to kind of metabolize a lot of input and kind of keep himself even keeled. I think he's a big shot maker. I expect him to be great. Like, he needs to come here and be great, and that's what he wants to do. That's what we want from him. And this Malachi Moreno, I'm telling you what, man. Like, it seems like every day, college evaluators and NBA evaluators fall more and more in love with him. He just keeps getting better, and he is getting better every day. We're really excited to have him on here, and as much as I say about those two kids and their basketball skill, I think they're great young people, man. And the fact that they get to come here and represent everything that Kentucky is. I mean, I still have all my KY Till I Die gear. I love that so much, via Jasper Johnson, and both those guys feel that way, and they're going to be really special.
Trent to gaining his 18 pounds.
So tell you what, it's going to be impossible for me to love Trent Noah any more than I do right now. Even if he gains the 18 pounds, right? He is he's got a chance, guys. Like, doing it here is different than doing it anywhere else, and being a Kentucky legend is different than being anything anywhere else. And Trent Noah is made different, man. He just is made different. He is a joy, and he's coming back as a vet. It's one of the things that's hardest, I think. One of the things that's really challenging is, as a player, is, you come in as a freshman, and everybody is older than you, and everybody knows more than you, and you can get tricked into thinking that that's your college experience because it's the only one you have. And the magical thing about year two is you're like, wow, everything is different. Like, I'm the guy who knows what film session is like. I'm the guy who knows what practice is like. I'm the guy who knows what individual workout is like. I'm the guy who knows what running through the SEC is like. I'm the one who knows what BBN is like. And it's a beautiful thing, man, getting to year two, and especially doing our system. And so Trent Noah is working really hard also, and he's incredibly focused. And I'm telling you, you can't buy what it means to come to the University of Kentucky and to grow into what you can become doing it here. You can't buy it actually during the process. You can't replicate it anywhere else. And then for the next 30 and 40 and 50 years of your life, there's just nothing that can compare to it. And so I'm excited to watch Trent Noah. I know how this is going to turn out. I know how it's going to turn out in the next couple of years. And I know how it's going to turn out 30 years from now. And I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for him because there's some part of him that can see it and feel it and taste it and cares about it. And it's going to be really special. I love that kid so much.
First derby as the Kentucky head coach.
Well, my first one was last year, and it was awesome. And then this year was just come on. It's one of the great sporting events in the world. And the fact that we get to go to this, it's I mean, there's no words for it. I thought I looked fantastic. I thought Leanne was like, I just couldn't even. I was like, Leanne, she just never fails. It was incredible. It's just a beautiful event. It's so much Kentucky, and I know it's in Louisville, but it's called the Kentucky Derby for a reason.
Coach, earlier in the week we got to talk with some of the TBT guys and the Harrison twins, and Aaron said that because of your guys' interaction, practicing, seeing you guys work over at Rupp last summer, that he watched more Kentucky basketball this past season than he did in these previous years, busy doing overseas stuff. How important is it for you to bring that Coach P to Coach Cal to now Coach Pope era and building it all together and keeping it together?
It's really important. It's our job. It's what makes this place so special, right? And it's not about disconnecting from all these great players and coaches in history. It's about connecting. It's really special. And I love these guys, man, because when the Harrison twins were doing their brilliant work, I was a former player cheering them on like crazy, being like, you guys better step up and get this done and represent, right? Just like they're doing with us now. And that's why this thing is special. They're really important. They're the ones that built this. Like, I get to walk into this press conference with all of you in here and get to put on this logo with everything it means because of what those two guys and every other player and every other coach that coached here did for this place. And if we do our job, then the next coach and the next players to come in are going to feel the same way. And the connectedness that Kentucky basketball offers all of us is one of the quintessential pieces that makes us different than everybody else. And so I love those guys, man. I'm grateful for those guys. I'm grateful for what they built and how they represent. And I'm so glad that they feel a part of this, because they should walk into Rupp and they should walk into Memorial every single day for the rest of their lives and feel like this is their home, that they built it. They bled and sweated and cried and celebrated on this court and with this fan base in a really intimate way. And it should be theirs forever. The thing that would make me most sad in the world is if there was ever a former player or former coach that didn't feel like they were welcomed here or this was their home, because it's really special, and it should be. TBT. There's a couple things I'm supposed to say. Can we do this? I was supposed to say something about CBS. First of all, nobody asked about St. John's. Is this possible? I'm excited. You guys aren't excited about this?
Going to be playing against Rick Pitino at St. John's.
Wow. Man, I've been working hard on this game. And I'm so grateful to CBS. I'm grateful to UCLA. I don't know what happened with UCLA, but somehow they're not in this, and St. John's is, and it's awesome. I'm so hyped. I'll be honest with you. Just I'm putting this out there so Coach P can hear it. I am bringing the suit game. I already started planning. Coach, just be ready, okay? Bring it, and the game's going to be elite. I'm not going white. I can't. Listen, I'm not trying to be the Dawn. Like, that position already been taken. But I'm bringing the Thunder. So I don't know what Coach has prepared, but he better get with his tailor, because it's on right now. All right, guys.